Web Summit is tech utopia. Once a year, over 70,000 people gather to celebrate digital optimism at the biggest tech conference in Europe. I've been there, it's awesome. Privileged internet entrepreneurs, big tech executives, celebrities, influencers. We attend panels and keynotes, talk about innovation at fancy dinners through the night. As long as investors throw money at us, we can solve any problem in the world. We feel like the chosen ones. The co-founder and CEO of Web Summit is Paddy Cosgrave. He's Irish, tech-savvy, well-educated.
170 countries will pass through the door.
A global citizen of the world. In his own eyes, Paddy is the definition of liberalism. So on October 7th, while we Israelis were still being massacred, Paddy went on Twitter and posted a chart, a 15-year comparison of casualties. Israelis on one hand, Palestinians on the other. No word of grief, no shock about murderous acts, just a contest of deaths. He was just using data. For 6 days, he kept on reposting criticism about Israel. But then, on October 13th, another tweet. This time blaming all Western governments for not condemning Israel for committing alleged war crimes. Paddy pointed his pseudo-liberal finger at us. My name is Ron Harnagle. I'm a tech entrepreneur, like thousands of others here in Israel. They call us the Startup Nation. In the last 7 months, we joined the fight for Israel's democracy. We marched the streets fighting for human rights, LGBT rights, minorities, women. We're not less liberal than Paddy or Greta or any other AOC out there. We attended Web Summit in droves, and we will never do it again. Fortunately, many brave tech leaders and tech companies from all over the world joined us. The State of Israel emerged from the biggest genocide in modern history. It was founded on a clear principle that the world shared with us for the last 75 years. Never again, never again will Jews be slaughtered just for being Jews. It's the glue that keeps us together. You see, Paddy, what happened on October 7th was not another data point on your fucking chart. It was something else, unbearable. These were not people fighting for their freedom. At 6:29 a.m., 3,000 heavily armed Hamas terrorists infiltrated Israel with only one mission: to kill, burn, extinguish every soul they met on their way. They entered their homes, shot the elderly, women, babies. They broke into a rave party. I'm sure you've been to some, Paddy. They killed hundreds of beautiful souls, raped women, kidnapped the rest. 80% of the bodies were found mutilated, raped, burned, desecrated. Crimes against humanity. It was a genocide of Jews, the biggest one since 1945, in the land of never again. Want to talk about charts? Here's one. In World War II, 4.2 million Germans died versus 300,000 Americans and 357,000 British. Data. On October 7th, when Paddy tweeted his data, he was in Qatar. His next conference takes place there in February. A country that despises its LGBT community, discriminates against women, owning the best football clubs in Europe, and spends billions on the best universities in America. Paddy's new investors are also the biggest investors in Hamas. They live there, next to his pseudo-liberal summits venue. You see, we all tend to fall into the same habit based on the narratives we want to stand behind. We fight climate change or Wall Street or colonialism. We identify with the underdog. It makes us feel right. But what happens when the underdog commits genocide? And what happens when you realize that the underdog will do it again on a mass scale if they only could? October 7th was not another day in the conflict. And if we Israelis will not go after the people who killed 1,500 of our brothers and sisters, then we have no right to exist. Liberalism? It's about principles, not death charts. You're not fighting for freedom by supporting genocide. We ask you to tell the difference. Please, do the right thing. Stand with Israel.